Welcome back to the Shocker Racing Garage. My name is James.
And I'm Kim, and it's been a long time since we have both done a video together, so I am glad to be back. We're going to review the Gladiator after 20,000 miles with 40's on it, an original axle.
Now, for those of you that have been following along on our channel for a while now, you'll remember I sold Kim on trading out of our previous vehicle.
He's a manipulator.
That's true. I'm good at it. I'm a salesman.
We had our Porsche Cayman, and he was telling me that we were going to get rid of it to get a truck after we already have a truck and we had a Jeep and an SUV.
Yep.
And now we're going to get rid of our sports car to get another truck.
So 3 years ago, I sold Kim on the idea of trading in our Cayman on a brand new Jeep Gladiator for the channel, for you guys, so that we would have a Gladiator and a Wrangler to be able to compare them both side by side. And we basically said what we were going to keep it for a year.
Yeah, well, first of all, I totally understood like the whole comparison that he wanted to do. I just didn't want to get rid of the Porsche, but he was like, well, we'll just get rid of it in a year. We'll just have it do the comparison and we'll get rid of it. And I was like, okay.
Here we are 3 years later, and we could not love this truck more, right?
No, we're like obsessed with it.
Yeah, so we're going to go over this thing. We're going to talk about all the mods we've done, how everything is held up, and all the fun we've had with it in the last 3 years.
As you know, we've been running the 4.5-inch Evo Overland lift kit on the Gladiator the entire 20,000 miles.
Now, when we installed the Evo lift, everybody told us you can't run 40-inch tires on a stock Dana 44 axle. And I decided to give it a shot.
To challenge that comment.
Everybody on the internet said you couldn't do it. Here we are, 3 years, 20,000 miles later.
Many road trips, off-roading.
Yeah, we have earned a bunch of badge of honors.
To the mall, to work.
And we have had no issues with this setup.
No, we really haven't.
These Nitto Trail Grappler 40's have been perfect for road tripping. They've never failed us on the trails.
They're really quiet in the, I mean, I don't think they're that loud now. James says they're louder, but they are quiet on the road too.
They were silent when we got them, so in comparison, they've gotten a little louder over the 20,000 miles, but still really, really nice.
If your music's loud enough, you don't hear anything.
True. But the only thing we've done to these axles in the 3 years, and I'd say it was about a year into owning the Gladiator and running it on 40's, I did do a front axle truss.
Is that when we went to Badgerland?
Yeah, we took it to Badgerland. We did the front axle truss, and we took it from 410 gears to 513s. But other than that, we have not upgraded axle shafts. We've not done anything else to these axles, and the rear is completely stock other than the gearing. Along with the Evo manufacturing lift, we've also been running the King shocks.
Dual reservoir.
That's dual reservoir, for those of you that don't speak whatever that was. We've been running these shocks, and they've been awesome, whether we were at the dunes, on the trails, or road tripping cross country.
And they're beautiful.
They are sexy.
They're very sexy.
Going around the rest of our Jeep though, we just kind of wanted to walk you through the rest of our build. We're rocking still our Motor City aftermarket stubby bumper, along with the Weston winch that we won. So that was a pretty nice win. Obviously we got the neon yellow wrap.
I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah,
it's green.
No, it is not green, it's yellow. But it's coming off because it is destroyed. It is absolutely disgusting.
But we'll talk about that later.
Moving around to the back, we are still running our AWE exhaust, which you can't see because we've got the trail version on that doesn't stick out.
And we love it.
Yeah. We've got our 4122 hitch slider there. We've got our Diode Dynamics lights that we mounted custom in the rear bumper. Why don't you go ahead and open up the tailgate there.
Oh.
My beautiful assistant. Inside the back here, we've been running the JCR pre-runner tire mount, and that has been absolutely perfect.
Yeah, it's solid. That thing I don't think it's ever moved.
No, it's been perfect. I was worried like jumping this thing at the dunes and stuff, how I was gonna handle it. Perfect. It's been awesome, looks cool, held up great.
Looks amazing.
We also like that it's like super easy to remove it. Just 4 bolts, boom, it's out, and we can use the truck bed as needed. We've also been running the JCR mount here in the bed. It's been a good mount. It holds our high lift jack, and we strap things to it when we're on the trails and stuff, but I will say it's a little flimsy.
And rattly.
Yeah, a little rattly. I
rattly.
wish there was some mounts at the bottom side, but they're not. But otherwise, that's been great. So that wraps up all of our mods that will affect or have affected our 20,000 mile review. So we want to get into where we've been with the Gladiator and how it's performed over the last 3 years.
Especially since we have gotten 13 badges of honor.
Yeah, we've been all over the place.
All over.
We road tripped. So we're going to try to list off
where we've been.
Where
I get
we've
to start
been.
first.
Go
Turkey Bay.
All right, s'more.
Sand dunes.
We've been to the sand dunes a bunch of times with it. Moab, obviously.
Panama City Beach.
We did road trip to Panama City Beach. I almost forgot about that one. We took it to Orlando.
Tennessee.
Tennessee on our way back from Orlando. I'm stumped. Oh, Redbird in Indiana.
Oh, Redbird.
You're gonna hit the fender, but slow. Keep going. Driver.
Badlands? No.
Badlands, that's also in Indiana.
Yeah.
Just climbing. You're good here. Keep coming.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. You're gonna go hard pass or easy. Stay straight where you are. Nice and easy. Nice and easy.
Nice.
Coming up nice. Dude, you're up already. Nice and easy. You're up, man.
Got it.
You're out. You're out.
Nice.
Yeah. Utah.
I said Moab.
Oh.
You repeated, so you lose.
Out of all those trips, if you've watched our channel, Redbird was the most challenging because it was so narrow and the Gladiator is so long. So it's not our favorite trail because of that.
In Redbird's defense, that was our first time wheeling a Gladiator, wheeling anything larger than the Wrangler, and we had only wheeled a couple of times at that point. So I'm willing to give it another shot at some point. Every place else we've gone,
Oh, no challenge.
whether it be road tripping, which again, we road tripped all the way down to Orlando, worked our way back up through Tennessee, and we have been to Tennessee Pigeon Forge multiple times with it. We said we have wheeled down to Kentucky. We've driven down to Kentucky where we wheeled. We've driven down to Missouri where we wheeled. We did flatbed it on the car hauler to Moab, but that was only because we needed a support vehicle. Stupid airplanes. But that was only because we needed a support vehicle for all of our Jeeps that were gonna be with us in Moab, all of our friends. We wanted to have a way to get it home. At every one of these parks, places we've driven, road trips, this thing has been perfect.
Yeah,
right?
it really has. The only challenges we had are us as drivers and us as off-roaders trying to get used to challenging trails, but this thing can perform and it performs well.
Yeah, it's never let us down.
No,
There's never
in fact,
been...
it always surprises us, and I think everybody else.
We also want to talk a little bit about the interior on this thing, and it's the same as the Wrangler,
It is.
but we find it to be very comfortable. We would drive these Jeeps anywhere cross country, and we have.
We do.
We have.
They're very comfortable. They're very luxurious.
Lots of options, very nice, great radio. All the goodies that we want and need are in this thing, and have been extremely happy with it.
Yeah, and there's so much room because of the bed of the truck. We can take out the 5th tire and put the tonneau cover on, and we have the whole bed for our luggage, which if you're packers like us, you want the whole bed and the back of the truck for luggage. All right, we've told you about our mods. We've discussed where we've been. Now let's talk about damages, because there have been damages, but we're going to only talk about the damages that we didn't create. Because we're
we've
really
created enough of our own.
Well, right, and you don't care about what we've created. It doesn't mean you're going to do the same thing. So we want to talk about the damages you might encounter if you had a Gladiator as well and you drove it for 20,000 miles. All right, one huge flaw is the visor. It's really weird too. If you notice your visor just falls out and you can't pop it back in, then you've got this problem. So if you look at the visor, This is where it pops into the roof of the Gladiator. But when this is pulled down, they should have notched this at like a 45-degree angle, because when you push this down even farther, it hits the roof of the Gladiator, which forces this to actually break off, not just pop out, break off, and you can't pop it back in, which is another flaw, because they should have made that where it, I guess if it popped out, you could at least pop it back in. So we brought it back to the dealer and they covered it under warranty, but it is just pretty silly.
So probably the biggest factory issue we've had with the Gladiator so far has been the service axle locker light. So basically what happens is the sensor in the axles tends to go bad, that engages the axle locker. And this has become a known problem across the JLs and the JTs. Now, the first time we had this happen to us was in Moab. It didn't seem to affect us or our trip in any way, but the light kept coming on, and by the time we got home from Moab, the light was on solid. We just did a video on this with the Z Automotive locker fix that they worked on with America's Most Wanted, and that did fix it. However, I did end up taking it in right before our warranty ran out at the beginning of August here, and I mentioned it to them. I did inform them that I am on 513 gears. Didn't know if that would affect anything, but they were awesome and they did get us taken care of. So if you do start to see problems with your service axle locker light come on, even if sometimes it'll just blip on and go away, make sure you let your dealer know while you're still under warranty. If you're out of warranty, check out our video on the Z Automotive locker fix. I'll put a link to that up here. But that's probably been the biggest factory issue we've had. Now, as far as the lift and things that we modified right as we got it, and issues we've had, really the lift has been good, the ride's been good, but things are starting to get a little sloppier to me in the front end. We did replace the Evo track bar, and what that came down to was some bad bushings that had worn out. And I am noticing some sloppiness in the bushings in the control arms. So that is something that we do need to address now, and I think that that's gonna tighten up the ride. Now, I don't think we mentioned, we have not done anything to upgrade the steering on this thing. Again, we've been running 40s, stock Dana 44 axles, 20,000 miles, 3 years, no steering upgrades, and it's been great. Now, besides having some bushings that have worn out, and again, a lot of that's probably from not just the mileage that we put on, but all the time on the trails. I am getting a clicking noise in the front end. And it seems to happen mainly when I'm hitting the brakes, like when I'm coming to a stop, I'll get a click. And then I have not been able to pinpoint where the noise is coming from yet, but I have a feeling running the 40s for the last 3 years has done some damage to the stock ball joints. So I think it's time to start looking into replacements for the ball joints.
All right, let's talk about this neon yellow wrap. It has held up so well, especially since us amateurs are the ones who wrapped it. Now, granted, it's faded and it has been out in the sun in the Moab Desert for a week. It's been at the Jeep dealership out in the sun for what, 3 weeks, I think, at a time. So it's definitely does fade, like they say. But again, we've had it for 3 years and it's held up that long. It isn't a daily driver though. We do have to remind you of that. So it isn't out in the sun as often as it could be. Plus, we don't live in a very warm climate. So that also helped preserve the color for a longer time. But we were impressed. To wrap it and have fun with changing the color and have it for 3 years is pretty good. There is some damage though to this wrap. So let's take a look around. This coming in and out of the vehicle, a lot of wear and tear. A lot of wear and tear.
And like you could see right here where we had the Lang Originals side mirrors, the difference in color between the two.
And it's not just because it's dirty.
No, it's not just because it's dirty.
No.
Yeah, this thing is, let's just point out too, this thing's been abused. We have not like even
this
cleaned it.
This is not a mall crawler.
Yeah, we have not even cleaned it since Moab, and we've been to the sand dunes since. And you could tell, I think you could tell on camera here even, the doors are a different color than the rest of the body because they spend a lot of summertime
in the garage.
In the garage.
Yeah.
But look at how white this is up here.
Well, this is like canary yellow, I call it, versus our neon yellow. We also have had some nicks from taking off the hardtop. You know, sometimes it sways. You guys know how it is. And just random nicks here. I think what's really cool about the wrap is that when things happen, there's a chance of preserving the paint. Wait, this is my favorite.
We don't even know how that happened.
Yeah.
That happened on a trail, but how do you damage the wrap on the back?
Right. This is my favorite. This is firework damage.
That was thanks to Lex during our photo shoot with Lex when she used one of those smoke bomb things and it shot out a spark and burned that there.
I don't know what happened here. And then, you know, just damage. I mean, from the trails, from life.
You can see just because it's so tall, climbing to get in and out.
And you can even see on this door how we're kind of interested at what's underneath here. And we're gonna find out and probably do some video on it. But this, you know, this damage right here has cut through the vinyl, but it may not have ruined the paint, and that's what we're hoping for. So we'll only know when we take it off, because we are gonna be doing that. We're ripping this thing apart in the sense of taking the wrap off. We're going to give it some TLC and rewrap it, and you'll have to stay tuned for those videos coming up. One last thing about the wrap. When we were in Moab on top of the world with our whole crew, we decided, since we are taking this wrap off, that we were all gonna sign the wrap on top of the world as a crew. And it was really just a cool little memento that we did that we get to always remember. The other thing is, one of our friends, Corey, he decided that we should keep this hood and mount it in the garage.
What we want to talk about next is our plans for the future with this Gladiator.
And we're definitely gonna change out this hood. We were thinking about the Mojave hood, but there's one thing that's making it a problem. Where the latches or the hinges attach, you all know, in the Mojave hood, they're concave. So it's not like an easy swap.
It's not a simple bolt-on for the Mojave or the 392 hood, because the hood's different, the cowl is different,
the hinges are different.
The whole cowl up here is different, the hinges are different. So it's not just like you buy a new hood and bolt it on.
Yeah, we were really excited. We're like, yeah, let's just buy one, and then we're like, oh, not gonna do that.
Not as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, now we have to plan it out.
More airplanes. Not only do you then have to buy all that, but then you have to have it all painted.
In addition to the new hood, like we mentioned before, we're gonna rewrap the Gladiator after we rip this off, give it some TLC, dial it in, and then we're gonna rewrap it. So you'll have to stay tuned for our new color, because it may not be neon yellow anymore.
We've been considering some different fender flares. I don't know about that, and maybe some different rock rails. But the big one that keeps like haunting me, like I keep waking up having dreams about, the bobbed bed look. The Moto built bobbed bed that they call Bob. They call the bed Bob. It's shortened, a lot shorter here. Looks really cool, but also it adds so much versatility to wheeling. Makes it a lot smaller on the trails. Maybe then we could go back to Redbird with it.
Yeah.
Because then it would fit. Definitely considering it. I just don't know that I could like bring myself to chop the frame, like cut the frame off and do that. That's gonna wrap up our 20,000 mile review. I think you can tell that we have really enjoyed this Gladiator in the 3 years we've had it. My big question for Kim is, if you could only have one, a Wrangler JL, not the 392, we're gonna take that out of the equation. Wrangler JL or a Gladiator, which would it be? And we wanna know what your guys' decisions are, what you would do. Drop those in the comments below, but I'm putting Kim on the spot here. If you could only have one.
I just want both. We have both. How do I only have one?
All right, I won't make her decide. I won't make her decide.
What about you?
Well,
what
actually,
would you say? You would say the Gladiator.
I think I think it's safe to say.
You know, no, I know what I would say. I would say the Wrangler. This is why. It is safe to say. I think what you're going to say is that we love this and it's tough.
I was going to say it's safe to say that you would choose the Gladiator because you let me sell Mojito.
No, we got a new Wrangler. Extreme close up. No, I don't know. It depends on what we have in the garage, but currently we already have a truck, so I would keep the Wrangler.
Basically, you can't go wrong.
You can't.
If you need a pickup truck bed, if you need a bed, get a Gladiator.
And you can do Jeep Wrangler things.
Yeah, you can do everything they do.
Yeah.
Don't let them tell you can't.
Don't make me choose.
All right. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and comment below.
See you in the next one.
Bye.